Oxford University and Oxford Brookes University A crew on the right. So dark blues against the maroons, and away they go, Oxford and Oxford. This has got to be a serious needle match.
This is. It's the two universities who like coming up against each other, and there's so much to win in this event.
And as they come alongside us, you can see the power going down through all of those 16 pairs of legs, side by side, pushing along, trying to get longer and into the mid-race rhythm. You can't have this expensive fuel-burning start for too long, but also you don't want to let the opponents get away because they can hold their hand in the fire for longer than you.
I know, sometimes it's a great challenge of, you know, whether you stick with the point where you naturally come down to rate and you sort of settle into the middle pace, or do you stay higher and match the opposition until you can get, you know, no one wants to be the first one to sort of drop down and get into that mid pace yet until you're really confident you've got what it takes.
So that's one of the gambles you play with this game of rowing, is like how long do you burn the fuel at an expensive rate in order to stay in the race, and if you can do it for a touch longer than the opposition and start to break them, then maybe you've got the chance for a breather. But if you get that wrong, well, you know, it could be game over too early for you, and when those legs are full of lead in the second half of the course and you've got nothing left, you realise it's too late, you haven't paced it right. So pacing is one of the things we learn. Pacing
is so crucial, and you learn the hard way. You learn by getting it wrong and then finding a way to get it right. And I think we saw, it looked like Oxford University jumped out slightly earlier at the first part past the island, but I think Brookes has responded very quickly, and right now, I mean, from the angle that we are seeing, certainly you would not be able to see this ending between the two crews.
Noticing quite a lot of wash on the water. There's quite a few more launches as we head to the weekend at Henley. Quite a few more spectators' launches coming alongside, and maybe umpires' launches going up to the start. So the water's a bit challenging here. But I think both of these crews are providing some excellent racing. We've seen some fantastic races just this afternoon, but particularly also across the week in the Island Challenge Cup for women, and it's the same here. Oxford Brookes in maroon, furthest from us and nearest to the camera, Oxford University. And the Oxford University crew is a mixture of the reserve and blue boat that they had in the boat race this year.
You can just hear that constant chatter, can't you, from the coxes? And every cox is a different style. Sometimes it's, you know, say loud and almost aggressive the whole way. Sometimes they're more understated and that reassuring calm presence. And the ones that I've responded to really well almost can mix it depending on what needed. So it really keeps you alert and sharp because they're always bringing something new to that race.
I was talking to fellow steward Neil Chagani, who was an Oxford cox and also coxed world champions Vincent Cracknell through his time, one of the best coxes I think we've got. And he says the variety in the voice is one of the things he really uses. He's incredibly calm. You've got to be like an aircraft captain sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle up, we're going. And then sometimes you need to cut through with a pointed and punchy call, and that kind of variety certainly works for me. When you're really tired, you need something to cut through the noise and the screaming. But look at this race. We are exactly halfway, just 9 metres past that island pontoon there, you can see, and it's almost as if the race is starting again here.
I know, we've been treated by such brilliant racing this afternoon. So many of these races you feel could be finals. They're that close, and it almost feels harsh for any crew to drop out at this level. They've put so much in to get to this point of the week, and they have made racing so exciting and so close. But at the moment, Brookes just have that slight lead in Oxford University, but certainly with still a long way down the course to come, this race is far from over.
And these are the ones you really remember, I think. They're really, really close races. I mean, you want to win by a long way, but the ones you remember, the ones you win by a photo finish. So Oxford Brookes, I think, now are moving. This is a crucial phase of the race, and they are moving away a little bit of distance every single stroke at present. So it's danger time for Oxford University.
You'd say at least the sort of bar 6 of the Brookes crew do not have a member of the Oxford University opposite them anymore. They've got that bit of water next to them, and that gives a lot of confidence to the crew that this is working, the rhythm is right, the work level is right, and we're actually now managing to dominate this race.
Yeah, there's a moment in an 8 when you're alongside another 8 where sometimes something suddenly clicks. You hit the rhythm, you hit the movement, and the speed seems to accelerate, and it's really exciting. You get that feeling of a lift, and that gives you an extra gear, an extra bit of confidence, and I think that's what we saw just happening there with the Oxford Brookes crew. Look at that focus throughout the boat there.
And again, the cox will be responding. The cox will also have felt that almost length they've taken out of Oxford University. And it's again that positive, you know, uplift for the crew. This is exactly where we need to be. This is exactly what we want to do. You know, I can see this last bit of enclosures. The finish line is calling us, and we just need to stay at this speed, and will have this race.
Yeah, this is sort of no man's land. This is kind of the dead zone, that third quarter of the race here. You haven't reached the noise of the spectators, but you're desperately keen to get towards the finish, and it doesn't seem to be arriving. And the extra 112 metres we've got over the 2,000 standard distance here seems to really count for everything. And I think Brookes have capitalised on that, and I think Oxford University here have got a bit lost in that dead zone, unable to respond, and probably feeling desperately tired. And maybe that early start, blistering pace to hold on to each other has been too much for them, and Brookes look more confident now.
I think Brookes are, and you're right, when that sort of slightly dead zone we talk about, when there's not many spectators, it's quiet appeared. That's where Brookes made their big move and pulled out a length. And actually, when you then come into the enclosures and the noise, and that's the lift, you feel now we're coming home, now we're coming to the finish line. If you've suddenly got a length and an 8, well, then you're just going to be full of confidence. If you're coming out of the no man's land and you're a length behind, like this Oxford University crew, there's a lot to do now, and you're running out of space.
Well, time is running out for the young women of Oxford University. Some of the victorious reserve crew plus Blue Boat members there in the Oxford boat having a final push against the local rivals, Oxford Brookes University's A crew. They've got crews throughout this regatta, Oxford Brookes, and they're holding off Oxford University calmly, strongly, powerfully as they come to the finish line here at Friday Henley Royal Regatta, record-breaking 2024 regatta. It's going to be Oxford Brookes over Oxford University in the last few strokes.
It's a fantastic race from both crews. Again, a very, very strong performance from Oxford Brookes, who really won it in that sort of third quarter. But brilliant to see Oxford University making that gap as small as possible right to that finish line, so they can walk away with real pride from how they raced.
What great eights racing we've had this afternoon. There's plenty more to come. Stay